Now, the last asset that you can possess is time, and I actually mean this across two scopes of life. And the first is the amount of time that you have right now, and the second is the amount of time that you have left in life, basically your timeline in life. Now, the first scope is kind of self-explanatory. Obviously, if you have more time, that means you can put more time into freelancing, into being an apprentice for someone, into starting your own online business, whatever it is you decide to do, whatever vehicle you decide to use in order to achieve financial freedom and abundance. Of course, the more time that you have, the more beneficial it will be. And part of that is also, I guess, kind of your safety net. If you have a job that's remote and you only need to log into your job 2-3 hours a day because you work for some very bloated company that doesn't actually know whether you're performing well or not, because no one's performing well at the company, no one really knows what they're doing at the company. Well, you can work 2-3 hours remotely, and then you can spend the rest of your day basically trying to build your online business. Or let's say you're in a situation where you are living with your parents. You might even be 22, 23 after university or college, and you know that you have a year or two of basically zero expenses. So you know that you have the time to actually go out and focus on your entrepreneurial endeavors. So obviously, the more time that you have in a day in the present moment, very self-explanatory, the higher chances are of actually achieving financial abundance and not being broke anymore. But then, and this is something most people really don't talk about enough, is the macro perspective. Listen, if you are under the age of 28, you have a massive advantage. By the way, I'm speaking primarily to the men here. To all the ladies, obviously my information still applies, but you need to understand my biological father was an alcoholic, abusive. So I've gone through a lot of adversity and struggle in my life to get to this point. So please excuse me sometimes when I speak specifically to the men. I would have loved if someone could have given me this information as I was growing up, trying to navigate the world. But anyways, back to my point. Men specifically hit their peak anywhere from the age of 32 to around 38. A woman at 29 has far more pressure to get married and have children. And by the way, that's not like societal pressure. It's just like if she's being honest with herself, she wants to, and she knows that, at 34, she's just going to have a lot less chance than at 29. Whereas men at 34, we are far more attractive than at 29 if we keep working on ourselves and put one foot forward day after day after day. So the reason I say this is if you are broke at the age of 29 as a man, because really there's not much of a rush to get married or have kids. For the next 3 years of your life, dedicate every single hour without having to worry about a partner or anything else to becoming a millionaire. That's the beauty of it. So when I talk about time being of all of these by far the biggest advantage, you need to understand that everyone has these grand aspirations for what they're going to do in the next 12 months. And most of the time don't hit it, but most people discount what they can do over a multi-year timeline. So as I said, if you are watching this and you are a 27-year-old, 29-year-old, but I mean, hell, if you're a 22-year-old, such as me, or if you're a 19-year-old or 16-year-old, I mean, it's basically hard-coded that in the next 5 years, you are going to be a millionaire. If you are watching content like this on YouTube and you actually absorb and actually use it, it's basically hardwired. I mean, maybe it doesn't take 5 years, maybe it takes 7 years, but time is by far the biggest asset. And if you are in your teens or pretty much any of your 20s, you have such a massive advantage. It is ridiculous. You have by far the biggest advantage.